Okay, good evening, everybody. Good evening, and welcome to um, our session for tonight. I'm just going to make sure that we're showing up here in Restream here, and then other than that, we're going to go ahead and get started. I think we're fine. I just want to open up the chat here so that I can see you in case you have uh, uh, comments or questions. Now, I should be able to see your questions or comments if you are in um, Facebook or YouTube. And so I'll be able to see you if you have comments. Now, if you comment in Facebook, it looks like I will not necessarily be able to see your name. So if you're commenting from Facebook, just write your name in from your comment, and I'll be able to kind of know who you are. Okay, let's see. Or am I connected to Facebook? Looks like I'm not connected to Facebook, or am I? Okay, yeah, I am connected to Facebook. Okay. Okay, hello, Carrie. All right, so let's talk a little bit about things about Bill's question, and that's really what I wanted to do here today. Now, Bill kind of talked about the fact that he was a little overwhelmed with the number of things that he has, and really trying to make a choice, right? So, how do you make a choice about what to use? And I think it's a very important question, and it's one that's easy to kind of get stuck on. It's one I was stuck on, to be quite honest, and uh, and I was stuck for a long time. If you can see my slides, you'll see here some of his choices were some of mine, and I think it probably some of yours too. He's got Coach Zippy. Now he's an Ultimate Insider, so he's got a license to Coach Zippy, and he's got the highest version. So there's not anything that he can't do with Coach Zippy. I think that his concern is Samir and Madab, are they going to be around? Right. So if he invests the time and effort and then puts it out there in order to have this thing available, are they going to keep it? Are they going to keep improving the software? Are they going to be available? I think that they'll be there, but are they going to keep it up? I mean, as internet marketers, we've all had the experience where software starts out and it starts out well, and then somebody doesn't keep it up. Um, He's got something called Invanto. Maybe you've got it too. He's got optimized press. That's what I use. I mean, I use optimized press pages, and I'll be honest. Now, that was my preference, to be able to use that page builder. That is really what I want to do, and so I understand um, just the whole dilemma, because you've got to figure out which page builder you're going to have, whether or not it's going to be different for the platform. That was another choice that he mentioned. I think David Sprague, he's the a guy. He's an offline guy, and he's a coach. He's been around for quite a while, and so he's put together, or he's putting together something that's coming out. And you assume David's gonna keep it up, and he's gonna be there. But once again, I mean, you've got a guy, right? And that was my concern too, was because um, I'm building everything on this, right? And while it would not be a tragedy if if it went away, it would be an issue, right? And Kim says, she's got the highest upgrade with Coach Zippy, and she's got the same concern, that there can be issues, right, with the platform. And so I think they're working hard to fix them. But I've been on the software development side before, and I've been on that side where you sort of um, working with your customers to debug your software. I've always recommended, and I've recommended privately, and I guess now I'm not. It's no longer private if I say it here. I really recommend that when you start talking about building a learning center, and this is really real, um, don't use your learning center to debug somebody else's software, right? And I want to say that again so it makes sense, so you understand what I'm saying. Do not you build your learning center on debugging somebody else's software. So um, I actually had, and I'll talk about this here in a minute, I was going to be using some of Searchy's features But there's a Facebook group there, and part of being able to use their Hubs program is they're in the debugging process, and they're allowing some of their customers to sort of help them to build it out. And I think it's a fantastic video host. I don't want to spend my time debugging their software. I don't want to be in a Facebook group. I think it's great that they are responsive. I just don't want to do that, right? Um, yeah, and Kim says, yeah. If you have a lot of irons in the fire, and some of the developers do, um, they've got a lot to debug, right? I think Carrie Kim is talking about Mintware, right, and Coach Zippy, right? I think the basic Coach Zippy does what it's supposed to do. Um, but yeah, so I do know that they've got a Facebook group, and people are sort of debugging it. Um, and Carrie, Coach Zippy is part of your insider benefits. So, if you haven't had me set you up, just write me in support. And as an insider, I will just set you up with a license. You can take a look at it. Right. Okay. So he's got David Sprague. There's also Thrive. Right. And then he's got Membersonic, which is WordPress. And again, I mean, I really, as you know, I've got Ultimate Insider built on WordPress. Right. And so I like the idea of using Wishlist Member and even Membersonic. I know Andrew personally, and I think that's a great way to go, right? Um, Groove Funnels, right, is coming out with their thing, and then he's got some stuff on Captua. So let me take a step back here, and what I want to do is I've went back and I got my presentation from the hackathon. And I think this slide that you're looking at right now, understanding the trade-offs, is from the orientation session. So if you've watched the orientation session, um, you'll see me talk about this very same thing. But I think it's germane to sort of how we want to make the decision about what to use and how to go forward. Okay, so any membership plugin and platform has trade-offs, right? Because if you think about it, so Kim Robinson's mentioning some of the trade-offs to Coach Zippy. There are some, and one of those trade-offs may very well be you might have to live with the insecurity of not knowing whether or not you're going to have to build. I mean, you might have to live with the insecurity that you're going to have to debug the software. Um, and so just so that you'll know that even if you have to deal with that, every situation you have is going to have a trade-off. There are going to be cons to every situation. Right. So any there is no membership plugin, platform, and shopping cart that is the perfect solution and it always works 100% of the time and does exactly what you want. I've never experienced it. So it's not gonna. So I want you to get that out of your head that you're even going to be able to have that. So if you can have that out of your head, then you can have your head to the point where, okay, you know what? Now it's a matter of what trade-offs am I willing to make? What am I willing to deal with and eat for the sake of getting this finished and getting it marketed? So that's probably just first off. You are not going to have a situation where all of these things are going to work together and do exactly what you want them to do. So you start out saying, okay, what am I going to be willing to deal with? Every page builder has trade-offs, which is my point. Every platform has trade-offs. So, um, and I say this even about Coach Zippy. I say this about Groove Funnels, which is coming, and about anything. Right? You are always going to be more vulnerable to an all-in-one solution. Always. Right? So if one platform does everything and any one thing goes sideways, that means then that your members are going to miss out until that one thing gets fixed. And if all four things plug, the access, the page building system, the platform, if any one of those things go sideways and you can't get people to their content because that one thing is not working, that's a problem, right? So when unless you have to, unless you just really want to have an all-one solution, you have to be really careful, right? And so, for example, one of the workarounds in Coach Zippy is that you don't have to upload your videos to their system. I recommend that you do not, because if you upload your videos to their system and anything goes sideways with that platform, then you are not going to be able to deliver your content quickly to your customer. If, on the other hand, you go to Coach Zippy, understanding that something could happen to that platform, you go with your host, with your host, not Coach Zippy, right? So use Coach Zippy, but do not use them as a host, right? Now, um, anytime that you're going to build this, you want to deal with as much complexity as you're willing to deal with. So in other words, this is not going to be a case where you want to try to simplify things. At the same time, though, you want to have it so that it's manageable, it's a manageable level of complexity. So take as much of it as you can, and if it's complicated and you can deal with it, that's better than if it's simple. Because the more stuff you have your thing do and you can get it to work, the better off, the better experience is going to be with for your customer, right? Now, and now here's the key to all of this. You're probably going to have to trade off complexity for price. So if you want to deliver a great experience and you want less complexity, then you're going to have to pay more, right? So that's just so you know. So you can get it, but you're going to have to pay more if you want to do it that way. Um, and so quite interestingly, back when I did the hackathon, this was the same time that I was launching the Teachable PLR, and I had not really even considered it to use as my own learning center until I actually worked with the platform to teach it. And so I did an example of the Teachable Learning Center. I could take you inside of there now, um, but let me go through this first. So let's talk about the cons of what I'm doing. Right, I want to talk about the cons. First of all, is a price. First of all, Searchy's 200 and Teachable's 119, and it annoys me, right? And it annoys me because I'm $300 down before any money's made. That part really just kind of bugs me. Um, let's talk about the pros to the situation. Um, I don't have to work at the appearance. So in other words, yeah, Kim says, ouch. Yeah, really. um, so with Teachable, I'm not working at the appearance. So I'm not worried about that. So they're taking care of that. Um, I'm not really worried about uptime and downtime. It's not my responsibility. If I have it on WordPress, uptime and downtime is my responsibility. So in other words, I got to monitor all the plugins. I've got to monitor WordFence. I have to monitor Hummingbird. I got to monitor all of that stuff. And it's my responsibility to do that. I don't mind doing it, but it's my responsibility. If I give that response, in other words, I've decided that I'm going to let Teachable take that responsibility off my hands. And one thing that I don't have listed here is that um, people in my local area, which is where I'm marketing this learning center, they might get freaked out if they see a WordPress interface, right? You guys and those of us who are internet marketers, we don't get freaked out by that if we end up having to look at a WordPress interface, and then knowing that the WordPress interface is where the site is. I think people just kind of get freaked out about all that stuff, and they want to know, well, what's this WordPress thing, and why is this site over here? And I would just I just felt nervous about putting everything over there for what I call our civilians, right? You and I are sort of, those of us who are on this call, those of us who are, internet marketers, we're sort of battle hardened to this, right? It doesn't even matter to us anymore. I think people who are from the other world, so to speak, I think they just get freaked out about that stuff. And I felt like that before I built it. Didn't want to do that. Passwords are not my responsibility. So the teachable system does all that stuff. Now, again, I'm not saying that it's a problem if I do it on WordPress. I'm just saying that if something doesn't work, it's not my responsibility. If I put all this stuff in WordPress, it's my responsibility, right? Um, uh, um, and I can grow it with the platform. I'll show you it here in a minute. So basically, what am I paying all this money for? Now, Searchy is really expensive, but it's a premium experience, and that's really what I wanted to have. I wanted it to be a different premium experience, and so yes, I am paying for it. But for those of you who have been able to use the search, for those of you who have been able to use a playlist, it's a premium experience. And so that is what I wanted to have in my local area. I wanted it to be a premium experience so that when people come to that membership site and they get a taste of being able to search for their issue, or they get a taste of being able to use it on their mobile, that they would think twice about giving that up, right? So I didn't want it to just be a place where they could go watch videos, and especially a YouTube video. I wanted it to be an experience where, um, if they had to go to another membership and they were to get the same content, that they would say, well, man, I can't search over here, or I can't go through a playlist over here, or I can't have this experience over here. That is what I wanted to go for. Now, again, this is not paid off yet because I have not marketed this in my local area yet. I am just getting started doing that, right? Just getting started doing the workshops. I think I just made my first offer Saturday, right? It was the first time I made the offer of YouTube Live, and I made the offer of the Learning Center, right? The more I make the offer, the more some of this is going to come back. But I had to get it built. The problem was I had the same problem as Bill. I I never got around to marketing the workshop because I never could get the darn thing built. And so because the thing wasn't getting built, I was hesitant about going out to market the workshop. And so that's why the workshop is so far back. And I just got started really pushing it because this thing's finally built. And I was in the same position. I was really, um, I was waiting on Searchy to finish their hub situation. And when they finish the hubs, I have to debug their software. I didn't want to do that. And so that was the final straw, that when they finished their hub system and they've got a group of people in the face. And again, I love Searchy. I just did not want to spend my time debugging it. I want to spend my time marketing the workshop so I can make enough offers to sell my learning center. And so I don't have time to debug it. That was one of the reasons. Here is the other reason, and this may not be your reason, but it's an important reason for me. Um, I'm also paying because I said this in in one of my emails. I am a technical person, right? When it comes to this, um, Laurel is administratively gifted, but she's not technical, right? So I need this to be, to the point where she can go in and administer. Now, I mean, I could probably show her how to do everything on WordPress, but I don't think she wants to do that, right? That's not necessarily her area of strength. Now, her area of strength is administrative and kind of keeping things in one order. Um, So if I make it really hard and really technical, so I'm the only person that can go in and fix something, I'm the only person that can contact support, I'm the only person that can figure out if there's a problem, and I'm the only person that knows where everything is, it's a problem. And that is a mistake that I have made in other membership sites where I'm the only person that knew where everything was until and I've had that case since my daughter Sydney left. So when my daughter Sydney was here, she did all that and we sort of built it together and she knew where everything was, but I knew everything was. Once she left, then there were some things that were kind of all over the place and I didn't even know where everything was. And then for me to try to teach somebody, I couldn't even outsource it. So I didn't want to run into that response, that situation again. Um, so here's the thing. Here's the deal. I don't like paying Teachable $119 a month. I do not like it. And I feel like it's a little bit of a retreat for somebody like me to have to do that. But the flip side to that is that if somebody says they don't have something or something's not working, Laurel can go in and fix it. My oldest daughter can go in and fix it. My youngest daughter can go in and fix it. And for every future learning center that I build in there, I don't have to fix everything. And so that is really the main reason. Now that might not even be everybody else's vibe, but Bill asked me why I went with Teachable. And so these are the issues that you have to kind of think through before you decide you're going to build and stick with something for your particular situation. Those are the pros and cons that I went through in my head. I didn't write them literally all down here, but that's what I put in. This is what was in my head. All of these things. And so I, I will probably build the membership, right? Ultimate Insider in WordPress because I needed to do lots of really complicated things, right? I needed to do all the things that it's doing. And I don't, and for me, Teachable would really be too simple and doesn't do enough for me in order to build my membership there. But in terms of being able to deliver content, specifically video content, and to collect a monthly fee for hundreds of courses, for me, this would be ideal. Because right now, right, I haven't even put everything in this thing. I have 125 courses in there, and I haven't even put my retired courses in there. Right? It's easily going to be up around 150, 200, right? When I get done with everything in there. And so what does that mean? That means then that it's got to be good at delivering content. I can't think about the appearance. I don't have time to think about these other things. And if anything goes sideways, somebody else may have to fix it because the chief part of my day, quite frankly, is recording videos and doing research. So the first part of my day, you didn't ask for this. I'm just going to tell you. The first part of my day is doing research and doing videos, right? So that's production mode for me, and that has to be done. Um, Stephen King says he's got to write X number of words every day. What is it? I think some recording artists, some of these rappers, they write X number of verses every day. I have to record videos every day. And that's got to be the first part of my day. I don't really have a lot of time now if I'm going to not only try to market my own PLR in my local area, but to create the PLR and sell it, I need to be able to not work on other things, even if I have the ability. Right. So that's really where that's how I made this decision. Now, okay. So, questions or comments? Questions or comments? What does anyone want? What anyone else think about or want to ask about? or Bill, that was my thought process. Um, um, so let me try to turn this around now and say, if I were going to kind of give you some things for you to think about, it is this. Um, First of all, you, um, you really do need to put yourself in a position where you have to launch this. Um, I found myself I found myself looking at options. I found myself looking at options until I had to launch it, right? And so when and so it wasn't really until the point where um, everything was kind of delayed because I couldn't do the workshop, and I couldn't do the workshop because the local workshop, because I didn't have the membership site built, or the learning center built, and there were hackathons I was supposed to do, and those couldn't get done because all these other things couldn't get done. So the only thing I did in order to get this in motion, and you probably remember it, was I did the hackathon. And the hackathon was less, and yeah, I sold access to it. And yes, it helped people, but really it helped me more than anything else, because it forced me then, okay, you know what, I got to go ahead and build this. I got to get in motion. And so what you have to do, I think, is wherever your niche and is you have to set a date and launch um, the membership center. You have to launch a product, or whatever your offer is. You have to prepare the offer, set a date, and launch it. And then you will then start to say, okay, you know what? This isn't perfect. I don't necessarily like this, but I'm going forward with it anyway. For me, like I said, I don't like the cost of Teachable, the extra 119. I've gotten used to Searchy's 200, even though that's kind of a chunk. I just I still object to paying $119 to Teachable, but I had to bite the bullet when I decided to go ahead and launch it, and that was the only thing that got this thing done. And because if you don't, you will evaluate things forever. So I would say that you have to set a date. You have to put yourself out there so that you clear the clutter, and you go ahead and just go ahead and put something out there, because um, I you will make, and here's how I know you will do this, because I did it. You will make every excuse there is to keep looking at stuff. You will make every excuse there is to keep evaluating something, and you will make every excuse there is not to set a date. So what you have to do, in my opinion, right, is to eliminate that by setting a launch date. And set a launch date, and you go forward with that date no matter what. And then you just build something, right? And you just keep improving it. And so if you have to do it from a cost basis, do it as cheaply as you can. If you were going to do it, let's say inside of Coach Zippy, imperfect, but that means you're going to have to put all the courses inside of one course. I think you can do a bundle course in Coach Zippy. I think you can. So you do a bundle course, and you go with it. And then you say, well, look, if these guys decide they're gonna um, you know, I don't know, go lame, right? Dan Kennedy's expression is go lame. If they go lame, then you deal with that when it comes, right? You just deal with it when it comes. You say, okay, you know what? I'm not gonna be in the Facebook group working with people to debug their software. I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm gonna learn it for me. I'm gonna learn it so I can use what's working right now, and then I'm going to launch with that. And I'm going to deal with whatever the case is. Anything that they're doing that doesn't work, when you launch, because it becomes your responsibility. So that's why I say don't even get into a Facebook group trying to get them to improve stuff. Don't get into a like a shouting match, writing questions in How many of you all have seen that happen? And those of us who've been involved in internet marketing, we've seen it thousands of times before. I can always tell when people are new because, and I'm not talking about anybody when I say this, but it's the truth. I see people in Facebook groups with new software, and you know what they're saying? They're telling people, oh, can you please do this? I'm trying to get this to work because I can't get my song. You know what? You can't be bothered with that stuff. Soon as you launch something and you're working with a platform, then it's your responsibility. So don't even get into that cycle of working with people on their software in Facebook groups trying to get them to improve stuff. So get something, you can make it work, launch it, force yourself to finish by setting a launch date and putting yourself out there and promoting it. Right? Okay, so Beverly's question is, what's a good amount of courses to open a learning center with? How many do you have, Beverly? I guess that'd be my question. About how many roughly do you have? All right. And any other questions? Just feel free to write your questions there in the box. Um, okay, so you have hundreds. Well, then I'd say launch with 50 and then get somebody to help you to get the other 50 up. Okay, well, yeah. Commit to having them all and then launch with 50. Launch with 25 if you have to. Right? And commit to the end and commit to your buyers that you're going to have them by the beginning of the year. Give them a break on the price. Give them a break on the price if they buy now, and then say, and you're not trying to trick anybody. It's the truth. You're saying, I will give you a break on the price if you buy now. When I get everything in here, it's going to be more money, right? Whatever that more money number is going to be, right? Okay, Bill, you're launching one. I mean, that's fine, right? You just gotta. My feeling about this is, and again, I can tell you from experience, I made every excuse there was for not launching it, and Searchy is gonna have a new thing coming out. Oh, Buddy Boss is supposed to be coming out with their mobile app. I got a mobile app now, and you know what? And it just kept, and everything was getting backed up. The local workshops getting backed up, and then all the stuff I'm doing based on the workshop getting backed up, and then just too many excuses. And so that's when I did the hackathon. After the hackathon, I just recently, right, Black Friday, I just said, you know what, I'm going to give people access to it, and I don't care. And that's what kind of pushed me to Teachable and Searchy, right? I just said I'm not going to wait anymore. I'm just going to launch it. So even though I don't like paying Teachable more money, that's what it took for me to get it finished. Yeah, I mean, Kim says perfection never happens, but you still chase it. I think that's part of it. But the other thing is that um, internet marketing is a technical thing, and so we do need to have certain things to work. And so when things are launched, they integrate with things, and so we get them, and so we all have multiple tools that overlap. And so part of us wants to use that tool that we bought, that we said, okay, you know what? I bought it for this. I bought it for this reason, and I bought it at a low price. I bought it at a launch price. Now it's more money, but this is why I bought it. I bought it to have it for this reason. And so we want to try it. If you know what, if having membership plugins was a sin, I'd be in a hot place right now. So I understand it. Um, and that's part of it. And so some of it is we want perfection, but some of it is I bought this. Now I'm going to get my money's worth and I'm going to use it. That's really another thing that's a trap. And I meant to say that. I don't have it written down here. Um, you have to get over that you bought something that you probably will not use. And so that really is, that's really another thing that'll get you if you let it, which is, wow, man, I bought this for this stuff. Now it's time for me to use it. And you mean I'm not going to use it? It will keep you paralyzed. So that's really a big one that you have to be aware of, that you will trap yourself if you think you have to use everything you bought, even the stuff you paid a lot of money for. You paid a lot of money for a lot of stuff you're never going to use, or that all you're going to do is just look at it a little bit and decide not to use it. And then you have to then say, you know what? I'm going to be man enough or woman enough. I'm going to get over that. I'm not going to use it. Okay. It's not going to happen. I'm going to build my learning center. I'm going to consider that as what? The cost of admission. I'm going to consider that as my own learning. I'm going to consider that as part of my education. I'm going to consider that as a sunk cost. That is what I paid in order to learn how to do internet marketing. Even if it was a tool that you decided not to use, that you can't use because it doesn't quite work and because you're going to use other things, or you have to go buy new things, even though you have something that does the same thing and you can't use it. You have to then say to yourself, self, we are not going to use this thing that we paid $300 and bought all the upsells for. We're not going to use it. We're not going to try to get a refund. We're not going to worry about all that stuff. We are moving forward. We are going to build our learning center, and we are now going to market our learning center. That is what you have to say. And that is also the hard part. And if you allow it, it will trap you, and it will take you and throw you down a set of stairs. It will. So you can't let it. And so is anybody who's watching, does anybody have that sense that you have bought stuff and you feel like, okay, you know what? I should be using it. You have to say, you know what? I am I am not going to be able to use it. And you just live with it. Right? It's hard. It's very difficult. But I promise you, if you do that and you go ahead and launch it, you'll be happy. Right? As soon as when it all goes away, when you make a sale. Right? As soon as you make a sale, all of it goes away. And it doesn't even matter whether you're covering your costs. As soon as you sell that first, when you finally get it built and you make your first sale, you know what? All the negative, all that stuff will go away, and then you're focusing on getting another sale. Right? It'll all go away. I promise you. All the stuff that you might be feeling and you might be thinking and all the other stuff you're overthinking, it'll all go away. You get that first sale of it, whatever it is. Right? Because you all probably had sales and other things. But when you get this thing built and you get a sale, or you get your first person that subscribes to you, I promise you, any negativity that you feel about building or about buying something that you didn't get a chance to use will not matter. It'll all go away. Right? So that's what you got to focus on, is how can I get somebody subscribed to this thing? Right? How can I build it, get somebody subscribed to it? And then all of the other stuff goes away. Right? Right? Any other questions? I don't have time to do it tonight, but I do want to talk about something else when it comes to building a learning center that I have not really had a chance to talk about. And tonight I don't want to do it because it would kind of detract from what we've already talked about. But there is something else I want to talk about, and it's how to think about this, right? It's how to think about it, how to think about what you're really giving people, and so that it becomes a little more fun than, you know, than just kind of just trying to build something to get a sale. You will do that, but I think that if you understand what else um, that I want to share with you, I think you'll really start to feel a little more excited about building it and a little more excited about marketing it. And it's something I should have put in a hackathon, or I should have put in e-learning playbook, but I didn't, because I didn't really think of it until now. And so I will share that with you. Hopefully, maybe later on this week, I am going to go on to build Thinkific, or create Thinkific. For those of you, that's going to be Saturday, right? So we're going to be launching Thinkific on Saturday. If you're an Ultimate Insider, you're going to get Thinkific. So, and then also tomorrow, I, ironically, there is a course platform that someone shared with me. I'm going to review it for tomorrow. It's going to launch tomorrow. So if you're watching this, you know, make sure you're watching for our morning newsletter at 9 a.m. There is a course platform that somebody is building, and I'm going to look at it, and I'm going to see. You know, I'll show it to you. So you're an adult. You don't need me to tell you whether it's good or bad. You just need to figure out if it's something you want to use. And of course, they're going to sell it for a one-time price, and you can make that determination. So that'll be tomorrow morning. I'm going to look at it tonight. I will do a demo. I'll have my demo for you tomorrow morning. So depending on when you're watching this, you'll be able to watch the demo either on YouTube channel or um, on the PLR Daily Show live page or on the Facebook group. All right. Any questions? Any other questions? Okay, everybody. Thanks very much for hanging out with me tonight. Appreciate y'all being here. Have a great night. A pleasant tomorrow. Take care.